If your business accepts credit cards or debit cards for payment, then you've often wondered why in the HE double hockey sticks you are paying a merchant services fee. Who gets this? Why? And is there any way that we can reduce this or pass it on to the customer? We're going to find out all about that in today's video. Stick around. Out there, welcome back. Happy holidays. My name is Rob. I am a wedding industry attorney representing wedding industry professionals. In today's video, we're going to be talking about merchant service fees that we pay as business owners whenever we use credit or debit cards. What's the deal with those things? But we're not doing it alone. This is a highly technical field, I guess. So I'm having an expert come on to the video to talk about this, and his name is Brian Manning. Brian Manning is a merchant services guru with bankcardsales.com. For over 15 years, he's helped business owners navigate the waters of merchant accounts, payment gateways, and the overall payment technology solutions needed to more effectively and efficiently accept credit and debit card payments. I'm so happy to have him here. He has an excellent YouTube channel, all things merchant services and credit and debit cards. I highly suggest you check it out. We're so happy to have him on the program. Brian, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
All right, Brian. So, we go through our lives, using our debit cards, using our credit cards, buying whatever we want. We don't care. And then the moment that we start a business, the moment that we become entrepreneurs or we form our LLCs, we're DJing weddings, we're photographing weddings, we're doing whatever. Then all of a sudden we got to start paying somebody down the line something called a merchant fee,
right?
For the rights to use it. But can you kind of explain what that fee is? Like, what is a merchant fee? Like why does it exist in the first place?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so a merchant fee, in short, is just it's a percent that is charged on every transaction when a customer of yours is paying with a credit card, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and typically it'll range from 1.5% to about 3.5%, somewhere in there. And what it is, in short, it's a fee to offset all the costs of processing the credit card, so that like fraud and chargebacks and all that kind of stuff, the equipment, the software. So there's a fee associated with it, and traditionally the business owner absorbs that fee.
So I guess it's kind of like if you want to be able to have the ease of having your clients use a debit card or credit card as opposed to cash, money orders, barter system, then that's the price you got to pay to play. I guess is that lack of a better word?
Yeah, and that's kind of where it originated. If you go way back, it's a convenience play, and credit card transactions a lot easier and quicker to use than check or cash and so forth. And so historically, it's there's a cost that comes with that when you talk about the whole structure and setting it all up.
And so I guess that's the reason why that fee shows up on the entrepreneur or the business side versus the consumer side, right? Like, because why can't it be that the consumer pays that versus the merchant?
So there actually are ways to pass the fee along to the consumer now. Historically, and really, long story short, there used to be a cash discounting, and it is just what it sounds like. If your price for your goods is $100, just to use round numbers, and you wanted to give a cash discount, you would just make it $98 or $97 and accept that cash. There was a whole bunch of compliance and problems with the cash discount programs, and some businesses were tacking on fees when they shouldn't be. So now there's actually ways to compliant programs that you could set up as a business owner to pass the fee along legitimately and the right way to the consumer if you wanted to do that. So it's a way to basically erase that processing fee for you as the business owner if you wanted to.
So just for the viewer out there, for the listener out there, what Brian and I are saying is not legal advice. If you want to truly understand, how to offset merchant fees, you need to speak to an attorney, speak to a trained professional on a one-on-one setting. So I don't want anybody to utilize the information from this video and just this video to do something. But with that being said, Brian, so can you walk us through some of those things that we can do as business owners to pass along the merchant fee to the consumer as opposed to absorbing it?
Yeah, so it starts with just having a provider that will give you a compliant program. And Debit Technologies is a software that's loaded into Debit Technologies Incorporated is the company that has the software. So you have to have the right software, the right hardware, which is the credit card terminal itself or the point of sale system. And so if you have that in place, given to you by a provider, of course, that is licensed to administer those programs, then you're compliant. You're on the up and up, as they'd say. So, you mentioned there's a lot of legalities with it, and you're giving the legal advice. I always tend to stay away from that because I'm not the attorney here, but you definitely do want to make sure that you're not just adding those surcharging fees or passing the fee along unless once again you're set up properly to be able to do it with the right software backed by the right provider.
So I guess that makes sense then. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a wedding industry professional, you, for lack of a better term, are the customer. And as the customer, I'm seeking a merchant services solution that lowers that and provides me with compliance. So, you know, I am looking for a merchant services provider to do that for me. What are some resources that you recommend that someone can use to kind of, I guess, look at the competition? I'm assuming there is competition, right? Like, I mean, like there's different companies and they're vying. And so I guess what their perspective is going to be, I'm going to charge, or I'm going to help I'm going to help lessen the merchant fee as much as possible to outbid the other guy, I guess. Is that, I mean, am I in the
Well,
ballpark?
a little bit. I guess in general, as the first decision, I guess that I would offer, if you're going to pass a surcharge along to your customers as a business owner, the first question is what's the response to that? Do you want to pass an additional fee? If you have a $1,000 or $2,000 bill, a 2 or 3% charge is going to be a lot more significant if your average ticket were $10, for example. So make the decision on whether you want to pass it along to your customers first. And then outside of that, with the regulations and how these programs are set up, there's not a lot of undercutting, or the surcharge fees are more or less set. So it's typically a 3% surcharge, or maybe there's some that are 3.5% surcharge, but there's not a lot of wiggle room when you do the surcharging programs because there's way more compliance.
I gotcha.
So they're
So,
kind of fixed.
so there are some service providers that wedding industry professionals use that handle the kind of the client management systems as
Yeah.
well as the payment systems. Like, so for example, Honeybook is a very popular one. So can you walk us through like how that works in terms of, well, I'm already throwing in with a particular company that handles these different components of my business, including, payment management, but maybe they're charging me 3.5% or something like that. What can you walk us through that?
Yeah. So if you're using a software that's industry specific, they may have a relationship with the merchant account system already set up and integrated, so that when you send out an invoice, for example, it goes right into the client management record, and it shows the invoice paid or outstanding or whatever. If they have that integration, a lot of times you either have, sometimes your hands are tied in the sense that that CMS or that CRM provider only gives you one payment option. In that case, you either use it or you go outside the software, and that's the second option, to set up your own merchant account with, a company like Card Connect or Elevon or one of the big processors, and they would then handle all of your payments that you would need to then transfer back into your software. So the it's all about the integration, whether you want to have that integration or if you're okay with doing it outside of the software.
Can you kind of speak a little bit, Brian, to if someone was like, well, I'm with HoneyBook and I like these components, or I don't want to pick on HoneyBook, I just whatever it is, like I'm
Sure.
with this particular software company that handles this, but I want to do it on my own for the merchant services and the payment options. Is that difficult? Like, what all is involved in that? Can they still use their own website? Can are they having to take things over the phone, or one of those old like chick things, like where you
Yeah.
it's like at the gas station, you slide the thing. Can you kind of, what's the difficulty level for someone to accept payments kind of independently by searching their own
Yeah.
service?
Yeah, it's not hard. You can set up your own merchant account. It's certainly fairly easy to do. The old knuckle busters, as you were referencing, those are old school nowadays with all the technology and everything. But you certainly can do research, compare to the big aggregate companies like Stripe and Square and the PayPal's of the world versus the merchant account providers. Um, a good merchant services provider will give you a software suite that gives you access to take a payment over the phone, send out an invoice link, do a billing plans, and then there's hardware and mobile payments all wrapped into what's referred to as an omni-channel solution. So if you set up with a merchant account provider that gives you that access, it's actually fairly easy to set. You can have it set up in a day or two.
And Brian, can you talk to us, talk to the audience about what you do specifically and how you potentially could help them regarding merchant services, trying to figure out whether or not what they have going on right now, is being is is too high of a merchant fee and these type of things. Like, how where do you play a role in this?
Yeah, so I've been in the payments business for about 15 years. So what I do specifically is I set up and consult with small to medium sized businesses to set up payment solutions. So the core piece of that being the merchant account itself. So I do consults, and I'll walk you through A to Z. The method of payment. Is it a retail operation? Is it mobile? Is it invoicing and phone payments and so forth? Just a series of very simple and basic questions that we go through to determine what the right software suite would be, and then the merchant account is integrated in with that solution. So it's that omni-channel solution that then we help you, the business owner, set that up, application process, and then management ongoing as long as they have the account.
And how do people that are listening or watching get a hold of you?
I'll make sure that my website links. I have a YouTube channel, so I have a lot of free resources out there if you want to do comparisons. So they can certainly go out to YouTube and search for bank card sales or Brian Manning. What is a merchant account? My videos come up all under all of those basic terminology. But you can visit the website and schedule a free consult with me. I do offer those as my time permits.
That's fantastic, Brian. Let me just say to everybody out there, like I went down the Brian Manning YouTube channel rabbit hole myself, and there's a lot of great information there. Like, I mean, there's just so much out there. You don't know what you don't know, and he has a great resource on his YouTube channel. So I really recommend everybody check him out. I know that merchant services and credit card transactions aren't like a sexy topic, but I mean, you got to know a little bit about it, right? So anyway, um, I really appreciate you, Brian, being on the show. Maybe we'll get you back talking about other things, maybe chargebacks or something like that. So
Yeah,
I get a lot of questions about that, but we appreciate you being on the show.
sure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
There is a wonderful restaurant here in Atlanta that I go to quite often. It's a famous breakfast place called Java Jive that does not accept credit or debit cards. And I'm like, why do they do that? Like, why can't they, why do I got to spring for cash? Of course, they have an ATM in the back, but I mean, I guess this is their way to defeat the dreaded merchant services fee. So they're saving between 1.5% to 3% every transaction. But then again, how many people don't go to that restaurant because they don't have cash on them? However, I don't know. I love their biscuits. Anyway, I hope that you found this video insightful. I know that I did. I learned a lot. New videos concerning the wedding industry and law come out every Monday. If you have suggestions for content, please let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to this on your podcast platform of choice, then please be sure to leave a review. It would be greatly appreciated on my end. And with that, folks, We'll see you next time.